welcome to Geekology. I'm David Siberia.
And I'm Sven Harvey.
And today we're back at View Cinemas at Star City for a review of Muppets Most Wanted. Now, to be fair, anybody who watches the show knows that I'm a massive Muppets fan.
Yep.
And you're definitely not.
No.
Okay, it's one of those things, the Muppets didn't appeal to everybody back in the day when they had their show, and you wouldn't have really gone to see the films unless you were a fan of the series.
Yeah.
So, you know, unless you've got small children, which you do.
Yeah, well, they're not so small anymore.
No, they're getting bigger, aren't they?
They're getting a lot
What's
bigger.
the age gap now?
Well, I've got an 8-year-old and my eldest is going to be 18 in 2 weeks.
Oh, time does fly.
Yeah.
So, family movies like this one, because this one was very much a Disney-style family film, and I love the short they put on the beginning, which was a carry-on from the Monsters Universe. I was going to say Muppets Universe. You see, it's on my brain.
There's another film coming there.
There you go. That could well be. Yeah, Beaker and Professor. Oh, it
yes,
could be
and Robin.
Yes.
Because I noticed when Robin turned up, you were quite yay.
Well, it's because the whole nephew thing was a storyline that they started with and then didn't really run through. Yeah. But you get that with all of the Muppets. Like they do give you back history for all of them.
Did I notice with Robin that was the original puppet as well? Because it looked very dusty and dreary.
It looked not as updated as the rest, but no, that was a new puppet.
Okay.
But the thing is with the Muppets, they do periodically update them anyway, because the original puppets themselves, they are working puppets, so they do have a lifespan, and as materials change and filming styles change, they have to update them. I know that I kind of was starting to annoy you about 3/4 of the way film going, that's number 4! That's because they don't only do costume changes. Sometimes they'll just do a complete new Muppet in the various outfit to fit in with the style. And during that film, there were several Miss Piggies used. Yeah. Not so much with the others, which surprised me, but I did notice that they'd changed several of the key ones over to being far newer puppets.
Yeah.
And that's from the last film. Now, I know you didn't really, you didn't see the last one, so I really must sit you down with the Blu-ray because it's fantastic. You know all the cameos that you were in this going, hey! Well, they've done that throughout all of the films, and the last one was really good. The trouble is with this one, for me, there was nothing new in it. The last one was definitely a step in a different direction for the Muppets and the franchise as a whole. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a lot with it. This one was pretty much just carrying forward with that. Yeah. The writing was solid, in my opinion. The cameos are great, but you always get good cameos. The character development was interesting. Nothing particularly new for any of the characters, but they did pursue the whole Kermit Miss Piggy storyline further. Because that's been carrying on that's been since day one. And the filming style. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and again, you wouldn't have really picked up on it, was that there were some really nice full body shots of the Muppets walking, dancing, doing things. And whilst they've always done that in various ways, through cutscening and through multiple splicing, that one they didn't so much. They were relying on the new green screen technologies. And they were really good. You couldn't see them.
And to do green screen with Kermit is always impressive.
Well, that's probably blue or purple. One of the other techniques they've come up with. I mean, we use green screen as a generic. I mean, what is the colour they tend to be using there?
I think it's orange. I'm not sure. I'm sure I've seen some behind the scenes footage where they've been using orange.
They keep changing it.
I think it's more a case of they have to attune it to whatever is going on in camera. So if you've got costumes that are bright green, obviously you can't use green and so on and so forth. So
although some of the really early green screening technology was hilarious when you could see that they
screen tear. As we call it in gaming.
So having seen multiple children's films, although not really on the Muppet side, but you've seen a lot of Disney.
Yeah, we do go through quite a lot of Disney at home and quite a bit of DreamWorks animation and stuff like that. to be honest, this is the thing, is the kids are growing up so fast. Because I've actually got 4 children. We've got an 8-year-old, 12-year-old, 16-year-old, and one is just about to turn 18. So it's interesting that currently the most played Blu-ray at home is Pacific Rim.
Yes, I'm imagining that would not quite sit well. I can't
see it. I mean, the littlest two boys have asked for a couple of Disney films recently for Christmas birthday stuff, but they're not really showing much interest in any animation anymore, and puppets, they've just no, it doesn't do them for them anymore. It's got to a stage where Jim particularly is running around with an Enterprise more than anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
Do you feel that style of film, that family, because it is very specifically aimed at a family audience, the adult humour whilst there was nowhere near as
it's not
prominent
as it used to be. It's not as prominent as it was in Toy Story.
No.
Which is a little bit of a shame.
Toy Story, though, was really Pixar back in the day before Disney took over.
But even in the third one, there's quite a lot of undertones. But I mean, this film very much seems like something specifically off either for the fans or for someone who's under the age of 10, to me.
Yeah, well, no, it's your opinion, so everyone's entitled to this. See, I would say definitely for the fans, and anybody that's a fan of the Muppets is going to love that film.
Oh, yeah.
As for bringing in a new audience to it, yeah, I'd say you're probably talking 11 and under. Just because children's tastes in films have changed a lot in the last, say, 5 to 10 years, because the animation studios have gotten a lot better, and with digital animation moving forward, as you said, Pixar, lots of adult humour in Pixar, and younger audiences are picking up on that far quicker now than they used to. They expect far more complicated storylines. So, I mean, if you look at the children's films when we were a kid, world of difference between what we have and what they have.
Even looking at TV shows now, I mean, you've got things that are, I don't understand why kids enjoy them, like the regular show and Adventure Time and stuff like that, and I see them when they're watching them on TV, and I'm like, why are you watching this? And the world of Gumball, I'm like, oh, I don't get it. Obviously, I'm just too old.
Yeah.
But then there's people cosplaying it in their 20s for things like Adventure Time and Gumball, and I'm just like, what?
Well, but, different shows appeal to different audiences.
Absolutely.
So as somebody that's not a Muppets fan, who had to sit there watching it with me, which is always a joy, was there anything in there that particularly stood out for you, other than the cameos? Because I know you were quite enjoying that.
I was quite enjoying going, there's Ray Liotta. I mean, it was just like... And you notice him, and then you suddenly realise who's 2 people away, and he's like, what's Machete doing in this?
Yes, I know.
Please don't kill any Muppets. That would be wrong, stuffing flying everywhere. No.
Don't worry, the Muppets always come back.
Yes. I quite... Chloe Grace Moretz turning up. I was just like, okay.
I've said to you before now, we are going to be seeing that girl for the next 20 years.
I'm just wondering if they specifically picked people who have been in incredibly violent movies just to be in this for a laugh.
Well, it was set in a Russian prison.
Yeah, and they're Tom Hiddleston. I'd be like, what? That's brilliant. I quite liked the storyline, the predicament that Kermit ended up in.
Yeah.
That was nice. I was a little bit surprised at the beginning quite how violent it was when Constantine first gets out of prison.
They're Muppets.
I know they're Muppets, but still.
But they're Muppets.
He took down an entire garrison.
They're Muppets. They can get away with that sort of thing because it's not viewed as the same sort of... Mind you, saying that, though, there was a big thing... It's really weird. They can get away with some things and not others. The last big stink there wasn't actually Muppets. It was Sesame Street, and it was Katy Perry. They had Katy Perry doing a song with Elmo. Right. And it was a variation on one of her big hits. And they filmed it. It was great. It got leaked onto YouTube and a few other places. But they had to pull it, because they tested it on the audience, and the audience went, her dress is too low. She was showing a bit too much cleavage, and it's like, she was better dressed in that than in 90% of her other things.
Yeah.
But, it's occasionally some things do get pulled from what they consider to be a family audience. So
what I would say is anybody who's thinking about watching it, if you have got really little kids, say under 6s, I would maybe think about the beginning a little bit.
It was done really quick and in the shadows, and at the end of the day, it was mild kung fu.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah. You see far worse in Pokemon.
True. Yeah.
So it's. I think it's a swings and roundabouts thing, especially.
It's just a case of a puppet attacking humans. May freak out the occasional very sensitive child, because it's just like, well, think about it. You've got something that looks awfully like Kermit taking down a garrison of troops.
Yeah, but he didn't kill any of them. They were only knocked out.
Well, yes, but you still, you've got a Kermit puppet, you've got a Kermit soft toy in your house. You're 5. You're sensitive. You've just seen what.
Yeah, but he's quite obviously the villain one, not the good.
Yeah,
see, the argument could be put forward with the good one will protect you.
Yeah.
So and you saw what they can do.
Yeah.
So, well, I suppose, but don't you have that if you're watching any film with us?
Yeah. So, what would you give it out of 10?
I'm going to give it an 8. There was nothing particularly new. They were literally carrying on from the previous film.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good, solid entertainment. There was nothing but... Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to give it a 9. It was very enjoyable. There were some bits that made me cringe, but I always cringe. But no, I enjoyed it. I must admit I enjoyed the previous one more.
Yeah.
But that was the first Muppets film I'd had in a long time. And they really did the first one very, very well. So
would you have given the first one 10?
I'd give the first one 11 out of 10. The first one was an amazingly well done film. This one, whilst still an amazingly well done film, my standards had been set so high from the previous one that it had to slip back. There was no way it was going to carry on with that for me. But they even said that in the beginning. Sequel's never as... Yeah, they sang it. The sequel is never as good. But it was. Genuinely, I enjoyed it. So, it's one of those... I would recommend it to anyone that's a Muppets fan or anybody that wants to go see a family movie.
It's worth mentioning, actually, at this point, that everybody's just going, what do you mean the first one? This is actually... The previous film and this one are actually parts of basically a new series of Muppet movies since Disney folded everything directly into them, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can't call it a reboot because it's not. You can't call it a reimagining because it's on the same story arc, timeline, platform. Whatever you want to call it, it's all the same universe. They don't do multiple universe. It's just a continuation. Sure. And it is just a continuation under a different... But you see, the thing is, we can't even say it's a sequel from the last Muppets film because Disney have owned the Muppets before. Yeah. And then let it go, and now we picked it back up. But now they own Henson Studios. Yeah. So, very different now. Yeah. But still very enjoyable.
Fair enough.
What would you give it, Ethan?
I would give it personally for myself a 5.
Okay.
If it was going to be a Muppet fan or someone under 10, I would add 2.
Okay, fair enough.
7 for them.
Well, I hope you're going to go and watch it. If you do, please leave comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Always very interested to hear from other Muppets fans. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on both Facebook and Twitter. And, of course, there is the official website.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for watching and good night.
Bye.